Chris here from Revolve Strength, and in this video I'd like to talk about genetics in bodybuilding and the role that they play. Now, this subject is something that gets a little too much emphasis put on it when it comes to gaining muscle. I find that, like, I definitely don't believe that I have the best genetics for bodybuilding, but I don't believe that genetics should be a limiting factor. Now, when I first started training, I'd watch a lot of YouTube videos, and often you'd hear pros say, like, you know, you gotta have the genetics for it. If you don't have the genetics, well, you're not gonna be a bodybuilder. And I think that sort of comment, like, it was quite, like, you overthink it pretty much, and it becomes something that is discouraging. So then you get to a point where you advance a bit in your training, you're still not getting the results you want, so you sort of begin to think about steroids or just wasting your money on more bullshit fucking supplements, who knows. But basically the way I see it is genetics plays a part in the way you look on stage. When a pro says, you know, you don't have the genetics, I sort of think of it in a way like, you know, you don't have the genetics to look the way they do. Sure, you can build yourself up, you can gain size, you can put on heaps of muscle, look big and all that shit, but genetics comes in and plays a big part in the way you look. And by that I mean your shape and your symmetry, your definition. That's genetics. But as far as just gaining size goes, I don't think that genetics really plays a huge part unless we're talking about gaining a certain amount of muscle in a certain amount of time, which obviously then genetics plays a big part, because some people gain muscle a lot quicker than others. Like, you know, there's a guy who goes to my gym, and I actually go to school with him, and he just gains muscle. Like, he makes it look so fucking easy, it's ridiculous. But yeah, like everything, it's just about persistence and consistency. You just got to keep at it, and it's also about the power of the mind too, because you sort of need to visualize what you want to look like and get that mind and muscle connection. Like, it's difficult to explain. I'm sure a lot of you who are more advanced would know what I'm talking about, but you've really got to put your mind inside the muscle, and you've got to feel it squeeze. Like, there's a place for heavyweight and there's a place for lightweight. You want to focus more somewhere in between, like a weight that makes you work, but not so much that every rep you feel your joints just, you know, that kind of shit. So yeah, basically you can have someone on steroids and they might train for a certain amount of time and get to a certain size. That size, whether you think you have the genetics or not, is attainable for you naturally, but it may take you 20 years. That guy may have got to that size in 5 years because he's using steroids, but, you know, don't feel like that is out of your reach just because you don't want to do steroids. If you train for 20 years natural, you're probably going to end up about the same size, and if not, you're going to be pretty close to it. So just, I don't know, or take your physique to your genetic potential, like your genetic limit. Like go until just build up until you can't build up anymore, and then maybe it would be semi-smart to try steroids. Who the fuck knows? Comes down to personal preference anyway. But that's my take on genetics in bodybuilding and the role that they play in muscle gain. So until next time.